somehow it just strikes me as such a beautiful metaphor for our moment-to-moment experience. When something arises experientially and it appears as something we can recognize and oftentimes feel as if we know what it is and can name it and describe it. In a sense, and I don't think we really realize this most of the time, consciousness is sort of like hitting the pause button, so to speak. There it is. There's the shape and the texture and the quality of the moment. I can identify it there. I could describe it. I could even kind of paint a picture of what it looks like in this moment, right? We could think of our words and our concepts like telling the story of what's here, painting a picture of it. But the thing is that as you feel your experience right now, notice that there's no pause button. Is there? It's like this. So if you look at your experience right now, as you feel your experience, it's just like this, isn't it? It's just this electric, sparkling, ever-changing dynamism, isn't it? This is what we're feeling. You try to grab hold of the moment long enough to name it, to describe it, as if it's something that's got a certain identifiable form and shape to it, right? But it doesn't. It's just, I guess the best we could say is it's a continuous flow, isn't it? It never stops. It never really concretizes or stabilizes as anything. Just like the fire. Every flash second of the fire, you can see here the shape of it. It's shape shifting, isn't it? It's never becoming a particular shape. You can't tell what the shape is, can you? Because it's in the midst of, as it's shaping itself, it's just continuing to shape itself. It never stops, does it? It just keeps opening, becoming, but never actually becoming something fixed. And this is just like what you're feeling right now as your experience. It's so obvious, it's staring us in the face that thought can never capture our experience because of this. And we don't have to stop thinking to see this. You don't have to stifle thought, suppress thought, silence thought. None of that's necessary. You just feel what's here, and it shows us in its dynamism, its ever-changing, ungraspable, unresolvable nature, right? And one of the reasons I love this image too is it feels like this. If you just relax your attention, don't look at it, notice anything in particular, just complete openness. And in a sense, can you feel the kind of chaotic nature, in a way, of your experience? Like it's just dancing, electric, all over the place, and it's sort of incoherent. There's no... It's a paradox because we experience a kind of coherence and patterning to moment-to-moment experience in a way. Again, that the patterns are the seeming taking of specific shapes and forms, So the world shows up. It doesn't show up in this kind of chaos like the fire. It's not like a fixed shape or form, but it really does. The felt sense of this is unpatterned, isn't it? Just feel that. All these little bursts of energy, of thought, feeling, of sensation. I'm giving names to these things, but how could you possibly describe the infinite symphony that's occurring right now? The magnitude of what seems to be arising experientially. In order to describe the moment, it's like we have to take one little tiny slice. Consciousness takes one little tiny slice of this infinity and goes, oh, here's what's going on. Like what's going on now is I'm listening to this sort of guided exploration, but meanwhile there's all this stuff happening, like little flickers and shimmerings and sizzlings of, I don't know what to call it, right? Like the fire, just sparks, flashes. And a lot of those little flashes and sparks and rumblings, and there's no words for what I'm describing, are sort of kind of overlooked in a certain way, because the more we open up to all this detail, all the sparkle, all the rumblings, all the feelings and sensations and vibes, and again, no words for any of this ultimately, but we can't string it all together and we can't connect all these dots to tell a coherent story about the moment. Not really. I mean, we can, and we do. I mean, I'm telling a story now about your experience. I mean, even my talking about how unresolvable and ever-changing it is, I can't even say that. It's that transcendental. It's that impossible to say anything about it. I'm just inviting you to feel the reality of that. To notice that you are feeling the reality of that. It's just that our habit of orienting to the descriptions as if that's reality is so strong that we think we live in a described world, when we both live in that described world, but also live in the world of indescribability, of the transcendent, of the infinity of this. And just let yourself feel that. There's no one sitting here. There's no world. There's just openness that never really becomes anything fixed, owing to its infinite, ever unfolding nature. Feel the way your experience is like this fire, this burning fire of aliveness, dynamism, all the flickering of it, the shape-shifting nature of it. How there's no pause button, as I was saying. It just keeps opening. And like the fire, I also invite you to notice how no matter what's happening in this dynamism, ever-changing each instant. In that sense, it has no no stability whatsoever. This constant disappearing of what appears, right? Notice that your experience, just like the fire, despite all this dynamism, the fire keeps burning. Fire is always here, always changing, but always here. So that no matter what's happening, no matter what thoughts are arising, feelings are arising, sensations are arising, little flickers of energy, all this experiencing, it always is. The moment always is. Fire of life is always burning. It's aliveness. You. No matter what's happening, you are. This is. It's so paradoxical that this is, in a sense, never here as something, but always here. Always present. Constantly disappearing. Constantly slipping away. Yet always here, this burning, this aliveness. Incredible, isn't it? Nothing, it's indestructible because it's everything. It's always dying and being reborn and dying and being reborn. It's always here, always here. And it's here effortlessly. It's not here because we're sitting here noticing it. It's not here because we're spending this time inquiring into it. It's just here. Here no matter what we are doing. It's not dependent upon anything. It's not something we're creating or trying to sustain. There's no need to do that. It's effortlessly here, isn't it? Sustains it. The moment, this aliveness, this dynamism sustains itself, doesn't it? Effortlessly. Feel the effortlessness of that. Just the light switches on and the fire is burning. This fire of reality. Can't pin it down. Can't determine what it is. Yet it's always here. Being everything. Being each apparent apparition, each apparent moment that seems describable. It shows up as a describable world, doesn't it? It shows up as the world of patterning and form and substance, for sure. Here we all are, sitting in our rooms or wherever we are, listening, watching. It doesn't appear as nothing, it appears as something. And yet it's also nothing. Empty of substance, empty of form, empty of identifiability and resolvability, and yet appearing as all this seeming form and identity. I mean, imagine one of those little flickers, you know, like an aspect of your experience right now, and you're going to tell me what it is and what it's like, and why it's here and where's it going. It's like, and it's just poof, just like those flames. It's really like that, isn't it? And we imagine in our, you know, our innocence that we have to do something to whatever, let go of the moment. And meanwhile, the moment, just like these flames, just letting go, letting go. The releases itself upon arising, like the flame. Right? It's just gone. No longer here. But always here at the same time. This fire of aliveness. This fire of being, existence. Is what we are. This aliveness. But we are what everything is. Ungraspable, unpinned downable, and yet always, always, always here. Indestructible. The real ground, the real stability. Not the one that we concoct by trying to hold on to things, seemingly, which is a fool's errand because we can't hold on to anything because it's burning. Burning.